Just a minute.
All right, we just started recording. This is going to be episode 7 of the podcast. We have Linda here today. So I guess I'll get you to introduce yourself. So can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Okay. My name's Linda. I'm 69 years old. I'm 70 in October, so nearly 70. I'm a mother. I have 3 children, all grown up boys, 2 grandchildren. I've worked in jobs all my life that have helped other people, and always live my life at 100 miles an hour. I love crafts, everything crafty, everything creative, and that's from sewing, embroidery, crochet, jewellery making, but I also write. I've written some books and I've written some plays that I've seen performed, and I like acting as well. So my retirement is full of activities like that. So I've plenty of hobbies to see me through.
You sound just like me. I made this necklace a couple years ago. I just have it sitting next to me. I have a bunch of other stuff. I'm very crafty as well, and I've also written books.
All right. I'll show you mine right quick. That's mine, Children of the Creator by Linda McKenzie.
That's awesome. I've actually written novels as well. I just haven't really had the time to go through them and like write a second draft and get them published. But like health books are a lot easier to write.
Okay.
So since this is technically a carnivore podcast, what are your primary health and wellness goals?
I'll give you a little bit about what I was like before I started carnivore. I was crippled with arthritis, in constant pain in my knee. I had gout in my toes, and gout is horrible. It's like somebody's dripping acid into your toes. It's so painful. Struggled to get upstairs, couldn't walk far, couldn't do much. I had gallstones and I had my gallbladder removed. I had diverticulitis, and that was excruciating. And I was just so unfit because of these things. I could hardly walk, I struggled to get upstairs, all these sorts of things. And as you've just seen me going for my headphones, I can get up and downstairs without any problems now. It's just made such a tremendous difference to my life. It really has.
That's awesome. And let me just tell you, when you said you were 69, in my mind, I was like, wait, really? Like, you look a lot younger than that. So, like, and I've seen that a lot with carnivore people who are up in age, even though that's not really that old, but, you know, like, they don't look old. And, you know, like, people on a standard European, standard American diet, you'll see 30-year-old guys who look like they're in their 60s. And it's just like crazy to me. So before you went carnivore, was there anything that you were doing to help, you know, your diverticulitis, all your arthritis, all the stuff you had? Was there anything that you tried other than carnivore before carnivore?
Yeah. When I had the gout, I went to the doctors and they said, he'll put me on allopurinol, which is 1 tablet a day. And I said, how long do you want me to stay on this? And he said, the rest of your life. And I went, what? I'm not taking tablets every day for the rest of my life. So I looked at all the things you're not meant to eat, shellfish, red meat, all that type of thing. But I did a lot of self-experiment, and what I found is cut out sugar, absolutely cut out all sugar, and gout goes away. It's as simple as that. If I eat anything that, well, I don't now anyway, but if I accidentally ate anything with sugar in, I could feel that little pull across my toes threatening a gout attack. I also cut out all gluten as well. And so those things helped alleviate some of the pain, but they didn't cure it. And it was only when I became carnivore that that the big differences occurred. And my fingers were very crooked. I can show you them now. They're still crooked, but they bent so much more than that. They bent so much more than that. And all the time, there were this, you know, when you've carried really, really heavy bags and your fingers just have that stiff achiness in them. Well, my fingers felt like that all the time. And now there's no problems. And I've got my dexterity back, which means I can thread a needle, which I couldn't hold the needle and the cotton because my fingers just didn't work properly enough. But now they do. So
That's so awesome. That makes me so happy because I mean I love doing stuff like that, but now I just don't really have the time to, or else I would.
Yeah. Never mind, when you retire, it'll still be there for you, like it is for me.
I just want to ask, like, what's your difference in energy levels? Because I know a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, I was tired all day. I had no energy," and they go to carnivore or even like keto, and they're like, "I was bursting with energy. I just wanted to run laps around my house." So,
Absolutely. I will add this to what I've just said. Back in 2018, I had the diverticulitis, and I went for a knee X-ray as well. And the doctor said, you'll need a hip replacement within the next a knee replacement within the next 2 years. So that's when I really started seriously looking at my diet and everything. Anyway, I haven't had a knee replacement. I can run up and downstairs. I can do squats. I can do lunges. I can move around. But back in 2018, a corner shop about 400 yards away from me, 400 meters, whichever measurement you use, um, I'd struggle. I'd struggle to get there. I hadn't the energy to get there. I was overwhelmed. And like many people say that start the carnivore, it's like somebody washed my windows, my eyes opened. It was like somebody had washed some very dirty, streaky windows. It was like, yes, I can. It just cleared the fog, and the energy levels are amazing. Like you said, I walk around and move around like I'm 20 years younger. It's, I just really enjoy exercise. I enjoy movement. I'm never overwhelmed with the thought of doing anything. I can just get on with my life, and it really is good.
that sounds so amazing. This makes me happy. I just want to ask, what brought you to diet? Because a lot of people, like, and some people just naturally like know diet has something to do with everything, but then some people have no idea and they have to have like an epiphany moment. So, what brought you to diet?
Um, it's just about my nature is naturally very inquisitive.
Okay.
And when I'm offered tablets to start taking every day for my life, I'm not going to just do that. And also, my mum had been very, very poorly and she was on a lot of medication. But a lot of the medication she was on was to alleviate the side effects of the medication that she needed. So she was on about 8 or 9 tablets a day, 2 or 3 times a day. And a death certificate showed failed liver, failed kidneys, failing heart, failing. It went on and on and on, and they were all side effects of medication. And so I don't take any medication. I very, very rarely even take a paracetamol or anything to, if I've headache or toothache or anything, I'll find alternative things. So really, I just started looking and then self-experimenting. The gluten, giving up gluten and giving up sugar helped. then cutting out other bits of things and other bits of things. And in the end, I did keto for a while, but in the end, it was just the carnivore that it suits me. It just suits my lifestyle, and I love it. So there's nothing to complain about, is there?
I'm so glad. I'm so happy that you're healthy now. It just really warms my heart. But so you live in the UK, right?
Yeah,
You have an accent. I'm like, it's got to be UK. So you live in the UK. What part?
I'm northern. I'm from Yorkshire.
Oh, okay. So I know in other European countries, their diets are vastly different from in the UK and the US. So would you say that the UK, everybody is on a very ultra processed food diet, or would you, at least where you are, say that people just eat relatively healthy?
No, I'm afraid that it's very much a lot of processed foods. It's a lot of
Hmm.
takeaways all the time, and a lot of fast food in the supermarkets. So you can buy a ready meal, and they're very, very cheap. So people buy these ready meals that have been, goodness knows what's put in them to make them last so long as they do, and all that sort of type of thing. I mean, when I was a kid, it was meat and two veg, and you got a treat once a week as sweets or something like that. That's candies to you. Um, uh, Biscuits were a treat. All these are crisps. You only had sodas, or we call it pop. You only had that at birthday parties. You
Hmm.
know, these are everyday things now that people just eat and eat and eat. So people are, in my opinion, they're poisoning the kids with
Yeah,
the excess.
I
You
I
know,
agree with you on that.
I mean, we had them, but it was a treat. It wasn't a weekly treat. It was, a birthday treat, a Christmas treat, a once a week treat for some things. Um, and so you got the other stuff, and it wasn't. I mean, there were frozen peas that were probably the only frozen vegetable around, but you'd have peas, you'd have carrots, you'd have potatoes. A lot of the vegetables cauliflower and cabbage, obviously, but a lot of the stuff we have now, it's fairly new stuff. A lot of it.
Hmm.
I don't think I ate a courgette until I was an adult. Broccoli until I was an adult.
Broccoli is actually fairly recent. It was only made like 50 years
Ex-
ago.
Exactly. And I think I was 17 before I had a fish finger. So it's just a totally and I mean that were a fast food then, that were a quick convenient food, but it's just a different way. I tell you what is good though about carnivore, when I go into the supermarket, Um, I just walk down all these aisles, walk past them, and
Hmm.
I go, not food, not food, not food, not food, not food, not food. I have food. Get my meat, get my, I have cream. I have a little bit of coffee every day with cream in. Get my cream, get my meat, get a bit of fish, and I'm out. And it's so quick. And the miraculous thing is, I had such a sweet tooth. I really could. I don't know if you know condensed milk. It's the really sweet. Yeah, I
My
could eat.
mom will
I
just
could.
spoon it
I
and
could.
eat it.
I could eat a tin of that. I could. That's how sweet my sweet tooth was. And now I can walk up and down all of those places, and I don't see it as food. I'm not tempted. I don't want it. I don't miss it. I'm not interested. And because my taste buds have changed, that little bit of ordinary plain cream, it's double cream, you call it heavy cream,
Hmm.
that little bit of that is sweet to me. And, so that's more than enough sweetness. So it does change you so much.
I'm just writing some stuff down. So you drink coffee, you drink cream, you eat a little bit of dairy, you eat fish, you eat meat, and that's it, right?
Now and again, I have a little bit of cheese. I like a cheese omelette, but
Mhm.
not often.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll eat a lot of raw cheeses, like French cheeses,
Mm,
or like real Parmesan Reggiano and Gouda cheese.
mm,
But I try and keep my pasteurized dairy limited because I know that's not the best thing for you.
mm,
So as a crafty person, and crafting is all about patience, not convenience. Any kind
mm-hmm.
of DIY person knows that. But then you look at the world today, and everybody's so busy that convenience is all that they have. They have to go get convenient meals. They have to go buy convenient clothes. They have to do the most convenient thing for them. And I think that is when the downfall really started with diet and people just not being overall as happy. I mean, could you agree with me on that?
Um, I think people are fooled into
Mhm.
thinking convenience foods is convenient. As
Mhm.
a carnivore, um, I have a small fridge because I only need to keep cream in it, really, and a little bit of cheese sometimes. I have a big freezer with meat in it, and I take the what I'm going to eat today out tomorrow last night, defrost it, and then if it's steak, it's 2 minutes either side. How convenient is that? 4 minutes, and I've got my meal, and I'm
Mhm.
very happy with that.
And if you
So
got an air fryer, a lot of people will just stick their steak in the air fryer for 5 minutes and take it out.
exactly, exactly. So but it's all what people are fooled into thinking.
Mhm.
Um, my poor children, it's the golden armpits burger bars that we've got over here, and they had a drive through, and I used to say, "Oh look, there's one of those," and we're driving past, not through, and I just didn't want my children getting used to that as something to eat and considering it food. Um, so they had other stuff. They were spoiled in a lot of ways, but this whole reliance on a burger, and people think it's cheap.
It's not.
I can't afford it. So you go out and you'll buy a burger. There might only be 99p, which it's a pound, which is whatever the equivalent.
It's
It's very,
it's a
very,
it's like $1.60 in our,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
So you think, oh, right, that's cheap. I'll get that. There's five of you in the family. You've suddenly spent £5. You can get mince meat and make a superfood and make your own burgers, and you know what's going in them, the quality that you get in, you can add the extra fat into them, and it's cheaper. But
Mhm.
I think one of the big mistakes in British schools, back in the late 80s, they shut down all the domestic science blocks in school, which taught cookery and nutrition and sewing, and changed them all for computers. And I was having an argument with this guy who was a computer teacher, saying, how many women are going to go into computer industry, but how many women are going to need how to understand nutrition and feed their families?
Mhm.
And so it's like all that knowledge and all that information and all that basic understanding just disappeared. Um, and they are bringing it back. They are bringing it back. My granddaughters do cookery in school and things like that. So, although nobody might have listened to me back in the 80s, um, I didn't say it, but somebody said it, and people are coming back to some basics in how to feed a family, how to feed themselves,
Mhm.
especially young girls. The rise in veganism
Yes.
is frightening when you
Yeah.
think of the damage that does to young girls. It's quite horrendous, really, and it inspires me to see the people that have been vegan coming to carnivore and talking about the differences. It would be great if you could get somebody who's been a vegan and turned to carnivore and talk about the differences in health from their perspective.
I'd really love to find somebody like that. It's hard to find people. Oh, so yeah, the UK, I would say it's, at least where you are, it's pretty similar to America as far as how people are, what jobs there are, the way the family works. It's
Yeah.
not like over in Costa Rica or
No.
maybe some like Germany, Russia, those kind of countries where it's more prominent to have a traditional family. The wife stays at home, man works, or they own a business together. I've seen a lot of that being considered traditional too. And I think, and I just said this a minute ago, but everybody wants a quick fix, a quick way to make money, a quick way to get their health back, and nobody really wants anymore to take the time to do stuff. And I think that's why doctors got so used to prescribing pills, like, here, it's a quick fix, it's a quick fix, it's a quick fix. And then they learned that all these quick fixes is what makes them money. And then that's where the money came in.
Yeah.
And then,
well, think about it. In the UK, and I think it's worse in America, most people my age are on 5 or 6 pills a day. Do they need them? Probably not. If they looked at the diet and the health and the way that they lived and how they want to live, but it's easier to just keep eating the sugar and do injections for diabetes. It's easier just to go for the fast food than make a proper meal. It's just wasteful, and it's ridiculous. But people would rather take a tablet than take self-responsibility.
yes,
And I
and
think the carnivore way, it really is about saying, I'm taking responsibility for my health and the way I want to live my life. And I can actually live the life I want by eating this way.
and
And that's the freedom that you get.
now you get to live a long, happy, and I mean, you really get to play with your grandkids, be there for your children, and all this awesome stuff. And like most people now, they can't do that. And I really think, especially with your generation, it's a lot of people, they don't want to change. They're just so obsessed with my doctor, my doctor, my doctor said this, my doctor said that, my doctor did this, my doctor told me to do this, that they don't even look at anything elsewhere. They don't even believe in it. And it almost is kind of selfish, because you want to live long, to be there for your kids. You want to take action. And then they just blindly follow their doctor, and they're not getting any better, and they don't second guess it. And that's what really bothers me, because I want people in my family, people I love that are their 60s, 70s, 50s to live till they're 90, 80, 100, and not just survive, but really thrive,
Yeah. And it is that. It's the mental clarity that I have is amazing. And I'm going to plug my book a little bit more.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, it's just that I'd started writing it a long time ago, and I'm hijacking this a little bit, excuse me, but I'm a writer, I'm a creative, and I write, and I love it. But I haven't an idea how to publish. And when you said put up your socials, I don't have any socials. I am rubbish at promotion. I'm on Facebook, that's it. And most of the Facebook stuff I get is craft. So I'm rubbish at that. But I've started writing this book or thinking about it back in the days of Harry Potter. And I just thought back then, I love Harry Potter, but what
I love
happens?
Harry Potter too. I've never read the books, surprisingly. I'm honestly a bigger book reader than I am a movie watcher, but I love fantasy, but it's just not something that I could ever get into. And maybe it's just because maybe it's just the way she writes them that I don't like. I don't know.
I think she could do with a good edit. Some of her pages go on a little bit longer, but that's a mild criticism. I do love the story, the concept. But what got me thinking was, what would a group of younger teens do if they didn't have magic, but they got into difficult situations that were life-threatening, and all they had was their own culture, their own knowledge, and their own wits about them as they had to get through dreadful situations. And that was the beginnings of thinking about the book. And so you have a people that are free, that roam, that come together, and 4 of the teenagers are captured and taken away and sold into slavery. And they've come from a free society with respect, equality, etc. And suddenly the property of somebody else. So how do they cope? What happens? Do they succumb to the situation? Do they maintain themselves? All those sorts of things. So if anybody wants a cracking adventure read, please read it. I have no idea how to publish it. I don't want to hijack you anymore. Let's go back to talking about carnivore.
Did you? I saw you have a physical. Is that the same book that you just showed me? Is that a different book?
Yeah, it's that book. That's book 1.
Did you publish it on Amazon?
You can get it on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay. Send me, when we're done with this, send me the link and I'll add it in the description.
Okay, that's great.
And then you need to get social media and post about it.
I know, but although you said I don't look at, although on this picture I look at, I was brought up where nobody had a phone in the house. Never mind social media. I was brought up where you wound your own watch by hand. I was brought up with all these things. And although I've managed to get on here and I'm using a mobile and I can do all sorts of things, and I was taught to touch type when I was 16, so I can type for my books. But all this other stuff, it's like I haven't a clue. And like I said, I'm a creative. I want to write. I don't want to get into marketing, into business, into all these other things that, and they go out of date. I think Twitter's changed its name. I never understood it, but it's changed its name. So even if I sort of had an inspiration one day to go, I'll go on Twitter and advertise there, it's gone. So I can't keep up with it all.
I use TikTok. I've got over 1,000 followers. This is my this is my book TikTok. I also have a carnivore one, but this is where I read a lot of books, so I post book theories, or it's Hermione and Ron were not always meant to be together. It was supposed to be Hermione and Harry, kind of stuff, but with different books. So
I'll have to make inquiries about TikTok.
I feel like you should get it. And
I'm sure one of my sons could sort of guide me in the right direction.
I feel like you could really, if once you learn how to use it, learn the environment, how to gain attention on there, you could honestly really thrive in there. And then you could always find, ideas to make a book that you could actually market and sell even better. Even though, everybody wants their book to be their book, but that's not, if you're going to make money off of it, that's not always possible. It's kind of rare to just have a book take off, especially if you
one of the things I think, I was just thinking this the other day, as somebody was trying to scam me, saying they were Elon Musk and they wanted to give me money, and I'm like, no. I said to him, I'm rich, I have a roof over my head, I can pay my bills, I have food on the table, and I have a little bit extra to go on holiday or treat my children if I want to. I am a rich person. I'm not after the millions.
Yeah, so, I'm the same way. I don't care too much for money, but for my books at least, I do put a lot of time into them, and I do try to make them affordable, at least on the ebook copy. But for paperbacks, you get no royalties whatsoever for them, and it's awful. It's not hardly worth the time anymore, especially if you're not getting hundreds of thousands of people buying them.
I think that sometimes, though, I think you're right. We should get proper recompense for what we've done, because the hours. I mean, I did 8 hours editing one day, and the week after I did another 8 hours. This is just editing. This is just going through and making sure commas and full stops and spellings and
Oh, you
sentences.
need to get an
You know,
AI editor.
oh right, that's another thing on my to-learn list. But I just love the writing. I have a story in me. I want to tell it, and I enjoy the writing of it. And I hope that if people read the book and they enjoy it and get the pleasure out of reading it that I got out of creating it, I'm happy. I'm happy. But I wouldn't say no to a little bit of extra money and
Yeah.
recognition of my work and everything. But I haven't done it to chase. I don't want to. I'm not saying J.K. Rowling, I mean, she made a massive amount of money. That's not my aim in writing. My aim in writing is I've got a story in my head and I want to tell it, and I hope people enjoy it. And it's just about giving pleasure to people.
That's so authentic too. I mean, I love my stories that I've written, but I mean, you're right. Like the writing part, that's the fun part. That's the part where you get to sit down and be in your own head and imagine a story. And I've written several novels that are like 40,000 words to 150,000 words, 300,000 words, like fantasy novels, high fantasy, like giant books. But then when it comes time to, draft them and go through and make sure the storyline makes sense, to where you could actually give it to people, and then you're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
It's almost not worth your time because you're like, who's going to read this? And if it's a smaller novel, then yeah. But if it's one this big, it takes more time to read it than it does to write it, almost.
I know. And you've got to have all the plots in your head. You've got to have all the how does this work? How does that work?
Yeah.
They don't see the hours of how can I sensibly get this group of people over there and that group of people over there and that group of people over there all to be here at the right time, at the same time, authentically, not just contrived, but sensibly. So it gives them an opportunity to do the next thing I want to do in the plot. And you plot in all these things. I did a games thing in the third book, and you should have seen the grid I had for scoring and for who was getting what and who was doing what. And it were like this massive thing. It isn't shown in the book, but it's all the working out. It's all there, and you think, oh, this is hard work some days.
What do you used to write with?
What do I write with? I sit in the chair, put my knees up, bounce my laptop on my knees, and like I said, when I was 16, I learned how to touch type, which is amazing because I can just sit and type. I don't have to look at my fingers, and as fast as I'm thinking it, I'm typing it. So I couldn't do with handwriting it because my brain is sort of like 3 paragraphs in front of my writing. Whereas touch typing, you can just, as it's thinking it, it's on the paper. And I'm just looking at the screen and, seeing what I'm writing at the same time, but just doing that. And sometimes I'll look round and it's pitch black, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've been working for hours just getting the story down.
That's awesome. I have one that I was working on a month ago. I really haven't had time to really go back and work on it, but I mean, I've got it all. I haven't really written it yet, like more than you can't even see it. I haven't written but a couple of chapters, but I've got all the act structure broken down. My characters, my plots, my subplots, my blurbs. I mean, all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's just now I don't have time to sit down and like pour into it because I'm the kind of person, once I start writing, I'll write from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
All day. And I don't stop.
Yeah. I'm the same. Like I said, it can be 3 o'clock in the morning, and because the screen's lit up, I don't realise it's pitch black all around me. I'm sat here with just the glow of the screen on my face, typing away, and I look round and it's 3:00 in the morning. So we get carried away, don't we?
Yeah, it's like living in your own head. It's awesome. I like it. And people have lost their creativity. I'm like, we need this back.
And then when you go to bed, you've got characters saying all sorts of things to you. So you've got all sorts of things going on in your head as well.
Do your characters?
You need to get it on paper to get them out of your head, don't you?
Do you feel like your characters make their own story? Like you just develop the character and then the character does all the work for you. You just have to write it down.
I think to a certain degree they develop, but I'll tell you this about my parenting style as well as my author style. I'm the parent and I make the decisions and I'm the one responsible. And so if I feel like I'm going down a road that I'm not sure about, I'll pull it back. I don't let my characters rule me, and I didn't let my children rule me either. Although if you ask them, they'll say I were a pretty soft mum. But you know, in important things, parenting, you're not a friend, you're a parent.
Yeah.
You're responsible. Don't try to be mates with your 5-year-old. They've got mates. They don't need the mum. They need mum to be mum or dad to be dad.
Yeah, I agree with that. You see a lot of kids now, and they just let their parents just let them walk all over them. I'm like, are you gonna whoop that kid or not?
Yeah.
That might just be because I grew up in the South, but you know. So now, since you plugged my book, I'm going to plug my book.
Yeah, definitely. Show me it. Hold it close so I can see it.
This is just my proof copy, but I have more. I also sell a hardcover copy. But this is a guidebook to the carnivore diet. And while it's marketed towards teens and young adults, it's not exclusive to that category. So I also like to tell people who are parents of teens, they should read it as well, because it just kind of gives you more insight on how our brains really work and how socially this can be a hard thing to do, as well as just, you know, normal carnivore tips and tricks that I feel like everybody should know. So even if you're not a teen, you should still read it, because you can almost apply anything from the book, like that's towards teen to like social life, school, partying. You can take whatever I wrote for school and apply it to work, and whatever I took for like parties and apply it to events or this and that. So it's not exclusively for teens. But I did feel like there wasn't anything out there for people my age. And there's not many carnivores my age, but there's some, and there's people with interest in it, or at least in people with interest in keto or carnivore or anything in that realm. And there's no books on it. There's no YouTube videos on it. There's no TikToks on it. There's nothing. So, you know, there's like 3 of us teen carnivores that are on social media, and I wrote a book. So
well done. Genuinely well done. I think it's brilliant. I think it's so important for people your age to fully understand nutrition and to not be influenced by vegetarian, vegans.
yeah.
I've nothing against those lifestyles, but they're becoming quite vicious now.
Yeah.
You know? The whole meat is murder, the whole this, the whole that, the condemnation, the guilt, the wanting to fit in. So the reaction of the peer group when they're eating meat and all that, it's easily influencing people and the damage that they're doing. So something like your book is an absolute gem. It's an absolute gem, and I hope you sell millions. I really do.
I don't think it almost feel like a scam, because you know, like I really don't, it didn't take me very long to write this, because you've already had it in your head for so long. When you do write it down on paper, it just flows, and then it's just going back, and it was really all that it was going back and formatting it, because I wrote it like so perfectly almost. And I had ideas at the end that I wanted to go back and add in, but it wasn't much. And it's not a giant book, so it took me a little over a week to do start to finish publish.
That's excellent. That's excellent. But took you a lot more than a week to get all that information in your head and to process it and to think about it and to get it down and to do all that. Getting it written is the easy bit. It's all that thought process that goes on that takes the work. Well done, really.
Yeah. I know. I just got these copies today, and it's like so surreal for me. Like, oh my god, I actually did it.
Exciting. It's exciting. Well done.
But my book, ebook copy, I was giving it away for free, but I had so many people clicking on the link that the link kept on breaking, and they couldn't access the book. So I'm like, okay. Then I was like, okay, let me email it to you. Well, then my email broke because I was sending people these giant documents every 5 minutes. So then I had, one of my friends, he's helping me, like, what do you call it, market it and stuff. He's like, you shouldn't even be giving this out for free. Just sell it instead. No. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that because I feel like everybody should know this information. He's like, but you also got to understand that you put time into this and stuff. So now it's still up on my website to read for free, but if it doesn't work, you're just gonna have to buy it. I'll send it to you. You can read it if you want.
Thank you. That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, like I don't have a problem giving it away. It's just dealing with hundreds of people texting you, asking you why isn't it working when it's free. I'm like, you could just not read it.
Instead of being an author, instead of being a creative, you're suddenly a marketeer in person. You're a salesperson. You're an editor. You're a this. You're a that. You're anything but what you really in your core want to be, and that's a writer or a creative. And it's like, I just want to do the things I like. I've worked all my life. I want to do things I like and not what I don't like anymore. So that's
yeah. I feel like I've learned that.
Certainly charge for your book, even if it isn't a lot of money. Charge for it. You're worth it.
Yeah, I'm charging the ebook. It's $3. And then this one is $11 just because it costs so much to print it, and then the hardcover is $20 or $21, something like that.
I'll give you a bit of advice. In the UK, books are a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. My book, paperback is $7.99, which $10, something like that.
Yeah, that's about the same.
Right. Okay, that's all right then. So yeah, but yeah, you've got to balance between wanting to sell your book and not pricing it out of the market, haven't you? As well. So it's all fine balance.
So when you publish it on Amazon, it gave you like a price range and it wouldn't let you drop under. I chose the lowest on everything except the hardcover.
Yeah.
Because I felt pricing the hardcover $2 or $3 away from the paperback would just not be worth it having a hardcover.
Yeah, no, that's sensible. Yeah, I understand you. Yeah.
Because my whole idea with the hardcover is you can go in here and say you're reading this page and you're like, ghee, butter, beef tallow, and you're like, oh, you know what's also great? Pork lard. So you say, oh, let me write pork lard in here. That way when I can remember, like, not for me, but like for people who are reading it, if they have any ideas they want to add to it and just keep it in one spot, that's kind of what I'm like, paperback. And you can also do that with the hardcover, but my books, I don't touch them. They stay pristine condition. They are special editions. Don't touch them. I have so many special edition books that cost me like $40, $50. And I'm like, don't touch them.
Yeah. I can understand that. But
yeah, my thing is kind of treat it like a Bible. I know I love the Bible, but treat it like a Bible. It's not something just to take at face value. You gotta go a little bit deeper into it, And that's how I feel like all health books should be.
Yeah, you need to study it. I mean, one of the things I used to love reading recipe books, but I never followed a recipe. I'd read a recipe and I'd think, oh, that sounds lovely. And then I'd go away and I'd do something very similar, but not quite following the recipe. But I had the knowledge of what worked and what didn't work, and I could experiment. And but the freedom of carnivore is, it's so easy. You can eat very, very plainly, but you can make a souffle. You can make a souffle if you want. You can do all these sorts of other things that are a bit fancier.
So
I was thinking, do you know what I was thinking? This could be a recipe for you.
okay.
They were saying that egg yolks are so much better. I mean, egg white's just albumin, isn't it? And I was thinking, I'll separate some eggs, but what will I do with the egg white? I thought I'll whip it up, and without adding sugar or anything, I'll cook it like a meringue. But then what I'll do is I'll get some double cream, the heavy cream, and then have you made the butter bites where you just cook your butter? Get some of them, crumble them up, mix your meringue, beat up your double cream, put in your butter bites, and you've got a dessert. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? You can have that recipe.
Sounds great.
I will let you have it if you want to write another book. Put it in
I
it.
have a lot of recipes in here. There's not a bunch because I do have a lot that are like my go-tos. So that's mainly what I put in here. But I've got like cream cheese pizza air balls. It actually came from like a keto dessert recipe, and I'm like, wait, I can make that savory. So you just take cream cheese and you chop up pepperonis or really whatever you want to put in there, and then you roll it. And you can either coat it in grated Parmesan or pork panko, and you can air fry it or bake it, or even probably deep fry in beef tallow. And that ends up being really good.
It sounds good.
I saw a keto low-carb manicotti recipe, and you just make cottage cheese flatbread, and then cut it up into strips, add cottage cheese, roll it up, and then put tomato sauce or marinara or something on top with ground beef. And I'm like, well, I did that. I tried it just like that, and I'm like, that's really good. But I could also do it with Alfredo, or we could roll chicken in the middle instead of cottage cheese. So I have that recipe in here. My favorite recipe of all time is my carnivore ice cream, and it's super simple. It's just heavy cream and egg yolks, and then you.
Simple.
But my most complex recipe's got to be my cheesecake, because this one took me months to figure out the best way to make it. And it's got a crust, and then it's got a little topping you sprinkle on top. It's so good. I can send you the recipe if you want.
I'm looking forward to seeing your book. You've sold me on it. You have.
Yeah, I know. I haven't really advertised it a whole lot, and I just haven't had the time to really sit down and like tell people what's actually in there. But yeah, if you want to buy it, you can buy it on Amazon. But if you want me to send you it for free, just text me and I will.
Well, free's a preference for me.
Of course it is. It is for everybody. I'm like, but then I have people like, well, I'll still buy it. I'm like, well, that's so sweet of you.
Well, if I get it for free, and I might buy it for a friend, then. Is that a deal? Because that's what I do. If somebody lends me a book, I think, oh, well, that's depriving the author of a thing. So I start reading it. If I like it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, I won't finish reading it, and I'll be glad I didn't put any money out. So I am honest that way.
I don't lend out my books. I'm too OCD about them all staying in tip-top perfect condition.
Oh, right.
I could never. Maybe if it's maybe.
No, I can see the struggle's real. You are not thinking of any reason why you could lend your books. The struggle is real there. So don't ever lend your books out. You're under no obligation to.
I did one time, and the book came back without a cover on it. I was like, what the heck?
No, that is a hangable offence. It really is. It's not good.
And I've had people not give them back to me as well. I'm like, what the heck? So.
Yeah. What on earth? Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about? We covered books. We covered carnivore.
Yeah. Just because this is mainly carnivore, like I've said, anybody who's sort of like getting older and thinking, well, I've got gallstones and all these things I'm not allowed to eat them. Get rid of the sugar, get rid of the gluten. It makes a difference. Your mind is clear. You feel you've got your brains back, and your body just does what you want it to do. It does what you want it to do. If I can squat 50 squats a day, then you can just get yourselves, immerse yourself in it. I say to people, go on the carnivore sites, but read the comments, because the comments are where the gold is. The comments are where I started this, and this is what's happened to me. I started this, and it's all those ordinary people making the comments that convinced me to give it a go. And that's what I did. And I hope other people just really have a go. Give it 2 weeks, you'll start seeing a difference mentally. Give it a month, and you'll start feeling the physical effects. Give it longer, and you'll be bouncing around like Tigger on speed. Honestly,
Oh my God! He heard you say his name. He perked up over there.
Oh, do you want to see my little monster?
Tigger, come here. He's being lazy. He's like, I'm sunbathing. Don't disturb me, woman.
She's the one that keeps me active. Watching the painting.
Oh, I can't hear you. What are you saying?
I said she's the one that keeps me active with little walks in the park and jumping up and down every 2 minutes.
I agree with you. The comments are gold. And then like the only non-positive things I've heard people say would be like, well, I have diarrhea. Well, that's pretty normal. Oh, keto flu. Yeah, that's also pretty average. But I didn't experience
that long. I haven't done for nearly 2 years. I went out to a big event, and I was already carnivore, and I had half a lager. Now, I'd had diarrhea when I first started carnivore. It didn't last long, got over it. Then I was fine sailing along. And then I had half a lager. And then I only just made it to the loo, and 24 hours I was in a bad state. So, it can seriously affect your drinking. If you like drinking and you don't want to give it up, you know, it'll certainly make you cut it down a lot. I'll tell you that. But
well, I've always heard, and I mean, I came from a family where I had a lot of like alcoholics in my family, but like drinking, I've heard it just like it doesn't even just barely affect your liver; it destroys it like bad. So I've never really been interested in that. And then a lot of carnivores, they get into this health space, and the government makes money off of alcohol, the government makes money off of food, the government makes money off of medicine. They're not going to tell you these things are bad for you if they're making money off of this. So nobody knows this until they start researching or get into a group like carnivore that tells you all of this.
Exactly. And alcohol destroys your brain cells. It really does. And when I was younger, they said your brain cells can never be brought back or recreated or whatever, renewed. Like, if you brush your arm, you've taken skin cells off, but your body will renew them, but your brain cells die, they're dead. Now, there's been speculation that this isn't the case, but your brain, you've only got the one, and if you should look after it, and destroying it with alcohol it's not a clever thing to do. It just isn't. So yeah, I used to drink. I don't anymore. Do I miss it? Not at all, because I don't know if it's about feeling so good, or it's like the sugar. There isn't a desire for it. There's no desire. There's no desire for sugar, which is very, very addictive. They say sugar's more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah. Yesterday I had a guy on yesterday, and he works for a pharmaceutical company. My audio sounds good. Anyways, he works for a pharmaceutical company and he sells them. And so he actually has a hard time finding jobs because he does carnivore too, and he kind of goes behind their back and tells everybody how bad it really is. But that's how he makes money. That's just what he's got to do. But he actually makes some of his own more natural drugs, or at least lessens the side effects of certain popular medicines, and sells them for pretty cheap. But he was talking, and he's seen so many studies where rats, sugar versus cocaine, sugar versus this, sugar versus that. What sugar does to rats, they took 2 different rats, one group with normal rat diet and then one group with a sugary rat diet, and they put them in a tub of water with a brick or something in the middle. Did you see that? Yeah, they couldn't find it. And I was like, and then they also did another study where they took one rat, or one group of rats, not just one rat, but one group of rats, and they put them in a highly stimulating environment that would simulate a natural rat environment. And they fed them natural rat food, but then they also gave them sugary foods. They did the same thing with another group of rats, but they didn't give them a stimulating environment. And they found that the rats who were in a stimulating environment did not find the sugary food appealing, but the rats who had nothing else to do with their day actually chose the sugar and chose the drugs. They also gave them drugs. But yeah, I mean, when you're bored out of your mind, kids now in school all day, they're bored out of their mind. What else are they going to do other than eat?
I don't know. I think the problem of youth has always been a problem of youth. I remember when I was a youth, and people were saying, how do we get young people into the church? How do we do that? And those questions are the same. And what about your day in school? What about your head in school all day? Yeah, we will. And it's not some sort of simple thing. It's about the home, it's about society, it's about your culture, it's about involvement, it's about belonging, it's about knowing a place for you in that, and that there's a progression for you from being a child to a teen to a adult, a young adult, to a parent, to a grandparent. But it's about having value all the way through your life in whatever stage you're in. And when people can't see the point of and have no respect for who they are and where they are, then we start getting more trouble. So that's quite deep. I'm sorry about that. And my dog is bouncing about all over, wanting to go out or wanting to be fed, or just fed up of me talking and ignoring it. So I'm going to have to get going. I'm sorry about that.
Well, I feel like we're almost done anyways. I mean, I feel like we covered everything, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, but I'm really happy with how this went.
Okay.
And yeah, you're a super great person. I really enjoyed talking with you. It's awesome.
It's been really good fun, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed listening to you. Hope your book goes well. Please, people, buy a book. Please, people, buy a book as well. But more importantly, go carnivore. Change your life. It really will. All right, I'll get off now because you can hear us getting impatient.
Okay, well, send me the. Bye, guys.